It's a fine line when you get your new gym shoes and you get your new running shoes and you get your new workout gear, and then you want to go exercise every single day because you're afraid if you don't, you won't accomplish your goal. But there is a fine line to all of this. So just make sure you're on the right side of it.
Everything looks easier than it is. I'm telling you, everything. Just remember that. Everything is probably 10 times harder than you think at first. Don't let that stop you from trying. Don't let that stop you from trying. Start small.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, yesterday's episode number 1569, One Reason You're Not Motivated. I believe it actually ended up being 2 reasons you're potentially not motivated. But today, for episode number 1570, don't make this mistake to start 2024. The old, I don't want to say the old joke because I don't want to make it a joke, but the old joke in the bodybuilding fitness community is the worst time of the year in terms of busyness is January. Because there's a lot of people who have decided, I want to get in better shape, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to turn my life around. I'm all for that. I don't care if it's busier, that's good. You do you. You want to make a change in your life, you should do it, and there shouldn't be anybody making fun of you for that. So I am all hands on deck for that. But the thing that does make me sad is when the new year comes, it's almost like people are trying to condense all of the shame from last year, all of the self-disappointment from last year, and all of the motivation they feel like they have for the next year into like the first week. And it goes from, I'm going to make 2024 the best year of my life, or I'm going to make this year, the new year, the best year of my life. You start that thing. In this example, it's the gym. And then after 4 days, you're burnt out, and that's it. And then you have this negative relationship with yourself. You have a negative relationship with goals. You have a negative relationship with the gym or whatever it is in this example. And that carries through for however long. And then you find yourself 2, 3, 4 months down the line, and you lost all this time. The mistake that I want to talk about today, the mistake to avoid in 2024, is coming too hot out of the gate. Instead of saying, I am going to lose X amount of weight this year or this month, or I am going to make X amount of dollars, that's okay. But let's just say that, for example. My effing chair did it again. So here's the thing. I've come to the realization, I told Helen, I figured out what happened. When I put it together, I don't think I bolted it very tight because the back, I could literally do them with my fingers.
You have the same chair I do, don't you?
I don't think so, man.
I think it's the same. Look at our headrests.
No, my headrest is bigger than yours.
No, it's... Are you sure?
I think so, yeah.
I just have mine all the way back.
I don't know, maybe.
No one could hear me. I didn't have my mouth on the mic.
No, they could hear you. I'm going to fix it because now I know what the problem is.
That would be very good for our listeners.
So I'm not saying... I don't know. I would say it's probably beneficial to say I'm going to make X amount of dollars this year because it's a little bit different than saying I'm going to lose X amount of weight this year, whatever it is. Ultimate goal, ultimate perspective for this episode, ultimate 1 point if I can make it. You don't have to accomplish everything in the first week of the year. You don't have to go to the gym 7 times in the first week of the year. You don't have to get 50 new clients in the first week of the year. You don't have to meet and fall for and marry the person of your dreams. You don't have to do that in the first week of the year. There's a lot of time. And I know we want to get off to a good start and we want to build momentum and we never want to miss a Monday and all that stuff. I know. But just don't beat yourself up if it's not going that way. The reason I wanted to do this video, Alan, I did this episode, I did a video on my Instagram story today. And I said, I know I haven't been on here in a minute. And I know usually social media is a highlight reel for the most part, and mine is too. I'm usually very happy and things are rolling when I'm on here. But I'm definitely struggling, and the business has taken more of me than I've been able to handle with grace, and we talked about that in a previous episode. But it doesn't mean that this year can't be super successful. It doesn't mean I'm down and out for the count just because we're 2 or 3 days into the new year and I don't feel like I'm crushing it. It doesn't mean it can't turn around quickly. So I just don't want anybody to lose sight of the fact that just because we're 3 days into the year and you're not crushing it yet does not mean over the next 362 days of the year you're not going to turn it around. That is a lot of time.
Going too hot out of the gate. 2 stories. One of them I have it's not deep shame, but I definitely have some shame around it, so I will be courageous in my communication. The first story is actually this time last year. I saw this woman on the treadmill hammering it, crushing it. And I was walking on the treadmill like I do, a little 5-minute warm-up. And I turned and I looked and I thought to myself, she's in trouble. She was sprinting. She was on a very high setting. And I know what she's doing. It's new year, new you. I get it. I do. But I remember thinking, like, that's too much too soon. And I hope that you stick with it, but I doubt that you can. I'm over here walking. Right? And I've gone to the gym at this point a year almost. And I'm walking still. Right? So sustainability and not going too far out of the gate. But I want to also not just out that person. I want to talk about when I went too hot out of the gate, which I've made this mistake many, many times. This just happens to be one of them. So when I was in high school, I did cross country. And cross country is long running. Lots and lots and lots of long races.
Sounds terrible.
And I was supposed to, so the coach would always sit you down and say, okay, in order to win this cross country meet, Alan, you need to get 4th. Alex, you need to get 1st. He always did. This, that, and the other thing. We'd go through what you needed to achieve in order to not let the team down. Oh, man. So my mom was there, and I just wanted to crush it out of the gate. Came out of the gate first. First one to hit the woods. New England forests are vast, and it was a long straightaway. There was a beach on this one too. It was like by the water, and I was the first one to hit the woods. Out of the gate, whistle blows, hammering it. By the time I get to the woods, I am in so much trouble. I went way too fast out of the gate, and so this is the part that I have shame around. I was not going to win. I wasn't going to hit the 4th place that I needed for the team to win. I was going to let the team down. I was going to let my mom down. I was going to let myself down. Blah blah blah. So I pretended to fall in the woods, and I purposely got mud on my leg so that I could make the excuse that I fell. I tripped and I fell. That's why I'm not in 4th. When in reality, it's because, number 1, I did not take practice nearly seriously enough. And number 2, I'm in shame, and I came too hot out of the gate. And I remember that. I will never forget that meet because I was... You know those races, Kev? I don't know if you ever did cross country when you were in middle school. No, none of that?
Absolutely not. I avoided it like the plague.
Of course. Brutal. Long distance runners go through so much pain. So I was supposed to come in 4th. And you remember, shout out to Schofield. I'll just say Schofield. And so there was this part in the beach. Running on the beach is the worst. And it was, you had to go all the way down and then back. And I was coming out down, and I was supposed to beat him, and he was passing me like the opposite way and going, what happened? And I just beeline, don't even look at him. Right. So anyways, let the team down, let myself down, lied about it. Not my finest moment. And all of this is just to say the next level nugget, which is just don't go too fast out of the gate. Had I paced myself, that's what this is. Pace yourself. So far, I am happy to say that in 2024, I have done mobility and I have written every single day. There's only 2 days, but here's the key. My mobility is only 10 minutes. I set a timer. And writing is only 20 minutes. I set a timer. And the reason I'm doing that is because I went into this year with humility because last year I was off and on and I tried to do a half hour and I tried to do 20 minutes. So I tried to do 20 minutes of mobility, half hour of writing, failed miserably, only got maybe a third of them done. If out of the 365 days, probably a third of those I wrote and did mobility. This year I'm trying to do differently. And whether or not I'll do the whole year, I don't know. I'm off to a good start, but I'll tell you what, my chances of success are far higher when I'm only doing 10 minutes of mobility in the morning and then 20 minutes of writing because that's a half hour total instead of what I was doing before, which is 50 minutes. Because the way my mornings run, it's 50 minutes and it's just too much. It was not doable. It felt impossible. And I often say, if you had a friend who broke as many promises to you as you've broken to yourself, how much would you value that friendship? Think of that friend who keeps breaking their promises over and over and over again, or that relationship that keeps cheating on you, or that relationship that keeps talking to that other person when they say they won't, or whatever it is. How much are you going to trust that person? How much are you going to value that person? How much are you going to trust that relationship? And the answer is not much. So set yourself small steps daily that you can keep the promises you make to yourself, and you will build self-esteem, you will build self-worth, you will build self-trust, and then that will compound. And then you can up the ante. Last piece, Kev. Emilia came to me at the end of the year, New Year's Eve, and she said, I can't do the next year the same way we did the previous year. We have to improve. And I said, okay, I'm with you. All right. So the previous year for 2023, Emilia and I had exercised every day for 30 minutes, minimum 30 minutes. Sometimes we did 45. Occasionally we did an hour, not really. But at least 30 minutes every single day, walking, jogging, whatever. Weight training. We tried to do weight training every other day, but we didn't always. And she said, we have to up the ante. And I was like, I don't know. Right. I said, okay, I'm open to it. She said, 5 minutes. Let's do 35 minutes. I was like, all right, we're going to try 35 minutes. And I said, but I want to can the 45-minute thing. Because what would happen is when we were feeling good, we'd up it to 45. And I was like, can we can that? We can it. Let's just do 35 all year, right? She said, no, we're going to keep the 45. So that was her decision, not mine. If we're feeling it, we'll stay 45. And I said this, I'm not ever doing more than 45. I said this, if we're exercising every day for all of 2024, which we will do, okay, we've got a Fit Pick challenge if anyone wants to join. Okay, check out my Instagram or Facebook stories. But I said I'm never doing more than 45. If I'm exercising every day for the rest of my life, I'm never doing more than 45. And I mean never. And the reason why is not just to be a dick, okay? It's because I'm not doing it. I know, absolutely not. It's not sustainable. I know it's not. And so next year, maybe we'll do 40. And then eventually we'll do 45 every day, apparently. But that's where I'm drawing the line. So anyways, back to the listeners. Whatever your goals are, whatever it is, just make it sustainable. And try to stay humble. That was one of my biggest mistakes, is trying to go too hot out of the gate and try to do things that are just insane instead of actually slowly build. And I've kind of come around to that idea.
My name is Nathan Schwarman. I'm from Lawrence, Kansas. I've been a client of Alan's for coming on 2 years now. And I really can't recommend his program enough. Alan's always there for me with great advice and holding me accountable every step of the way, and really leading by example. I've grown a lot in his program, but he's grown alongside with me. So I'd really recommend joining up on the program and joining the community.
Remember, Alan and I lived in Florida for a month back in 2018, I believe, or early, maybe 2018, which is wild to me. And we made some friends while we were down there. We made some acquaintances, and we got to hang out with our buddy Eddie Panero of Your World Within. And we went with him and one of our mentors at the time to this gym that was run by two Marines. They had a podcast. And they were like, hey, after you interview, like we're going to do an interview, all of us, after we do that, we should go do the sled challenge. And Alan and I were like, what's that? What does that mean? And they said, it's just this. We just load up these, I think they're like called prowlers, these sleds with weights outside, and you just push them. Ah, okay, yeah, I'm fit. I can do that. It's not a huge deal.
Tar.
Well, yeah, it's outside in the Florida sun, and it's in a parking lot. So Eddie said, yeah, I've done it before. It's terrible, but you guys should do it. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm in really good shape. I know Eddie's a runner, but I'm strong. I feel like I could probably do it. If Eddie could do it, I could probably do it. Nothing against Eddie. And we do the interview, and we take our shirts off, dump them out. Here we go. Let's get going. And the second we started, I knew I was in trouble.
Real quick, can I just intervene?
Yeah,
I had asked them, I said, it's just there and back? And they're like, don't worry about it.
See,
and
I didn't
was like,
know.
seriously, just there and back?
I
thought it was going to be no big deal. The friction on the pavement, man.
I didn't know what there and back. I thought it was to the end of the building and back. This was like This must have been a football field and
You
back
and I
a
came
football
in
field.
so cocky,
Arrogant,
man. In hindsight,
what the hell?
arrogant,
A
for sure.
giant bug just flew around and landed on my TV. Stink bug. When I started, I don't know if I understood how far I had to go, so I was like sprinting.
Oh yeah, too much.
I thought this was going to be
Same.
fine. And then by the time I made it, I didn't even make it to the end without crawling. I was crawling at the end where you turn around and come back. And then on the way back, I was dying. I puked on myself several times. It was the worst experience,
It was
one of
bad.
the worst experiences in my
It
entire
was
life.
really bad.
Just another example of coming out of the gate hot, assuming that I had to get it all done. I wanted to win first place. I didn't
Same.
even finish. I didn't even place. There was no medals for Kevin at the end. It was brutal, and I slept the whole ride home. I thought I was going to have a panic attack. So just another example of, yeah, you want to get going. Yeah, you want to get started. Yeah, you want to build momentum, but not at the expense of further future momentum. It's a fine line. It's a fine line when you get your new gym shoes and you get your new running shoes and you get your new workout gear, and then you want to go exercise every single day because you're afraid if you don't, you won't accomplish your goal. But there is a fine line to all of this. So just make sure you're on the right side of it. And I just don't want anybody to start the year off and think they are a terrible person because they make it 4 days in a row and then they crash and burn. Just because you crash and burn doesn't mean you can't get back on the horse next week. So don't beat yourself up. It's going to happen. But to Alan's point, or maybe you said this off air, I don't know. Setting small goals and accomplishing them and then setting a little bit of a bigger goal and then a little bit of a bigger goal, that's a really good way to get through the year. We didn't always give that advice, for sure.
Yeah.
But now
I wish I had
Same.
become wiser in my older years.
Experience. And, we've coached a lot more people at this point. Group
Yeah,
coaching, you've done so many sessions, so it's different. Now you know.
I realize how detrimental it is to your self-worth. I didn't know. Your self-worth takes a huge hit when you constantly set these huge goals that are not achievable. And it's unconscious. It's not like you're consciously like, oh, I'm not worthy. When you break those small promises, I'm much better off doing 10 minutes of mobility every single day and actually keeping that promise to myself than I am trying to do a 30-minute meditation / yoga session that I'm never going to do. It's just, even though I keep wanting to do it, we all know you want to go to the gym, you want to exercise, you want to eat better, you want to do gratitudes before bed with your intimate partner. Like, these things you want to do. Everybody does. Everybody wants to be in better shape. Everybody wants to live a better, more fulfilled life. Everybody wants to grow and learn, and for the most part. If you're a listener to this show, you obviously do. But that doesn't mean you're going to do it. It doesn't mean you're going to do it. Doing and wanting and doing are two very different things. I wanted to do mobility every day last year. I wanted to write every day last year. I talked about it a ton, and I failed. I was thinking about that in the shower today. I was like, I failed. I want to be more open about that. I failed last year. I still wrote 12 blogs, but my goal was biweekly. My goal was 24. I only wrote 12. And the question is, why didn't I just shoot for 12 and then once I hit 12, up the ante? And I think it was probably a little bit arrogant in hindsight. And the sled challenge is fun to reminisce on because you and I, we have this identities of athletes. We worked out hours. I mean, probably an hour and a half a day or so. Only missed a day a week, maybe. And the cardio is different.
Yeah, that cardio is very different.
Eddie had done this before, and he paced himself. And I remember I got down and then probably a quarter of the way back before Eddie passed me. And Eddie passed me, and he had strategy. He did push on the way down and pull on the way back. And I had to see him pass me, get that humble pie, and then start doing the pulling because it was awful. It was so much worse than I thought. And that's the last thing I'll share is this. Everything looks easier than it is. I'm telling you, everything. Just remember that. Everything is probably 10 times harder than you think at first. Don't let that stop you from trying. Don't let that stop you from trying. Start small. Instead of have it stop you from trying, just start 1/10 and then 2/10 and then 3/10. Instead of doing the whole sled challenge in record time and getting first place like Kevin wanted, why not be like, you know what? I want to see if I can finish. I think that would be the more humble way.
Yeah, and I might have actually finished.
You probably would have.
I wanted to come in first. I didn't finish at all. That's not
a good lesson
coincidence.
right there.
It's
That's
a
a
very
good story.
it's
Yeah.
a very good lesson. And yes, we're joking about it, but that was a very humbling experience for sure. Learned a lot.
Yeah, it was emotional. It was not fun at the time.
Yeah, no.
It's
no,
funny
not at all.
looking back. At the time, you and I were not in a good place.
No, no.
Not like you and I were fine, but
Yeah, yeah.
with
Oh, not
ourselves.
really. No, that was a different day. You and I got into an argument. Then we went and did hot yoga, and we were just crying on the way up to the studio. It was brutal. We'll save that for another episode. Next Level Nation, if you have not yet joined our private Facebook group and you want to be around a group of like-minded individuals, I'm convinced that, to Alan's point, one of the things that a lot of us want more of is positive community. I was talking to a lot of people about group coaching, the group coaching that just started yesterday. Our first session would be yesterday if you're listening to this on Wednesday. And one of the things a lot of people said was, I'm so excited to get around a community of like-minded people. I'm so excited to be surrounded by people who want to grow and want to evolve. If that is you, and group coaching wasn't a right fit, or a live event isn't the right fit, whatever it may be, book club isn't a right fit, whatever, join our private Facebook group. I can guarantee that will be the right fit. It's very easy to join. There's posts every day, and you can engage with the ones that you resonate with the most. The link will be in the show notes, as always.
Excuse me, sir. Did you say book club is not aligned?
I wasn't talking trash about it. I was just saying maybe right now it's not it.
Well, maybe it goes well with this episode, which is start small and build.
Start small.
Next Level Nation is the place to start small.
Yes.
It is, if you're a listener. So we hope to see you in there. But if you're ready to build your mind, book club. We're reading High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard. We are actually almost done with this book, and I recently tallied it up. I didn't. Jerry Ann did. And she went through all the files of all our old digital assets, and she found out that this will be the 14th book that we've read in book club.
Damn.
Very cool. Yeah. So our new book is going to be coming up soon, but remember, book club, you don't have to have read the book up until the chapter. Every single, we have a WhatsApp group as well. So alan@nextleveluniverse.com. Email me if you want into book club. I'll register you, and I'll put you in the WhatsApp group, or I'll send you a link to the WhatsApp group. And you can join us, and you can start anytime you want. You don't have to have read the book or read the chapter or be caught up. You don't even have to have read it if you don't want. You can just come and have a discussion, and you can keep your mic and camera off if you want. It's really quite an amazing community. So book club, join us. High Performance Habits, Brendan Burchard, and then another book coming soon. The poll will be in Next Level Nation soon.
I vote in every poll, even though I don't attend book club. Does that make me wrong?
No, because you're trying to advocate for the books that you believe will help the community most.
Definitely.
I understand. Limitless, you voted for. It was excellent.
Good. Okay.
Excellent.
Tomorrow, for episode number 1571. Also, real quick, we have a meetup tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, we have a meetup tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all about starting the new year strong. So make sure you join us if you are listening to this episode and you want to. Again, meetups are one of those things. You can have your camera off. You don't have to participate at all. It's not recorded. It is one of the rare private things that we do. A lot of the stuff we do is episodes and stuff. What do you want?
Setting clear goals.
Thank you.
For 2024. If you have yet to set goals, I had some client calls earlier, and some people haven't set their goals yet because they're still catching up after taking their Christmas lights down and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't set goals yet, join us. We'll help you set goals for the year. And goals that are achievable and doable and sustainable.
Strong work. Thank you for that. I did not know the name off the top of my head.
Of course.
Tomorrow, for episode number 1571, what are your 3 words for 2024? A client said this to me yesterday. Last week we were talking, and she said, "What was your word for 2023?" And I said, "Boundaries," because I was talking about how the team felt like it was the most aligned Christmas or holiday season ever, and we were talking about it on the team call. And I said, "I think it's boundaries. I think that's the reason why people have really leaned into setting boundaries. Self-worth has come up." And she said, "What's your word for 2024?" And I said, what I'm going to say on tomorrow's episode.
Ooh. Well done.
What a hook. As
Which
always.
you have to listen to now if you
You
want
have to. Oh my God, my chair did it again, you son of a bee. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. We are grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it sustainable. Next Level Nation.